use three-dimensional objects, where they are, and the relative position of them. Six-sided outlines have to be interpreted as real cues and formulas.
That's a 75 Ocean, 6 seconds, 3 on the David.
No, thank you. Thank you much, Kay. Hello, response to 10-5 LS. So response 2. So response 2. So we have 421 from 1493 back to CD12. The mileage is going to be 190.02. 190.02 cents. Or remember, the Thursday business process and RP show back to 60 left 9 gauge. Yes. So Sergeant. 5 Charlie 2 is handling. So it's 91.98. So Sergeant. 10-5 there, let's come over 2 by 2. 45 Charlie 2 is handling. So it's 98. 10-4 here, let's come over 2 by 2.
418.
418, go ahead.
20 van 1967.
20 van 1967.
So we're transporting 2 juvenile from GD20 base to QCV. Opening mileage 77740.
777. 777. 828.
9198, thank you.
Sounds very well.
Thank you much. Oh, Charlie. Oh, Charlie, since we're sure 54 this time.
Go ahead, Kay.
Charlie wants quality of life at 14 stations, so everything under control.
10-4. What is? What base? Can I have a bus response to Station House with the connect? Let's see if I see messages to be back on. Central? It's your 9. Marion from 96 to 59 on the voice. 96 to 59 on the voice, 10-4. Marion from 96 to 59 on the voice.
437.
3247.
Network adoption. So we're doing 1 stop under control.
available unit from District 1 to respond to 34th Street, Hudson Yards on the 7th for disorderly. It's a male black, public urination. Male black wearing black and white sneakers, black pants, black black. Can I have a unit from District 1 to check the vibe, please? Male black wearing black and white sneakers, black pants, black black. Unreadable.
One lieutenant.
One lieutenant, go ahead, Kenny.
I'm actually heading to this. I'll pick it up to cause disregard.
10-4, thank you much. Hello?
And you're back in the Stone Zone with your host, Roger Stone. FBI Director Kash Patel has received a lot of criticism throughout his
Another one.
technologies handling the Epstein files. However, Patel's record is
waited for you. That's 60%
as he delivers
rounds
on
from the property. Don't want to approach yet. Full clerk has no knowledge. I can find all the minutes.
U.S. authorities captured by his former Nicolas Maduro an outstanding drug-related charges alongside a major cartel seizure totaling more than 2,000 kilograms of fentanyl. Maduro also reports multiple fugitives from his 10 most wanted list arrested, thousands of criminal suspects taken into custody, and a large number of missing children recovered through their anti-trafficking operations. This is a huge contrast from the previous politicization of federal policing as they weaponize
Sitting there silent, huh?
spending all of their energy and efforts to President Trump, his allies, and his supporters. The investigation was trying to
For response, go ahead. Trophy 84, 23 report. 10-4, 2056.
Thank you, controls prioritize national security, fight drug trafficking.
Is that 188?
DOA, can somebody may have been for 96 to 59 the one they use.
96 to 59 on the 1. On response, go ahead.
With the negative result, 90X, also 98 from myself.
10-4. Washington Avenue, 28, 181, and 182. Story operations, one around ground level.
The FBI is back to their core mission.
We have to update pandemic progress.
Progress in the Russia-Gate investigation and prosecution. Seditious conspiracy that began in a White House morphed into the Russian collusion hoax, two completely bogus impeachment trials against President Donald Trump, and of course there was
Charles?
No, en route.
more and more evidence will become published here shortly. January 6th, family insurrection, followed by the raid on a sitting president's home in Florida, and of course, Arctic Frost. That was
Transit at the 3 Street bar in the
to frame the President of the United States, to keep him off and then to put him in prison.
Bound Platte, deputy from District 4 to check and advise, please. Thank you.
First,
Thank you for response to.
People to be held accountable. The far left says it's about revenge and retaliation, but I say it's about accountability and justice. Continue to pray. I'm Roger Stone. Thanks for joining us today in the Stone Zone. Until tomorrow, God bless you and God save you.
Van 1967.
20 Van 1967.
Hello, then QCB ending by 777741. 3361. 91, show we doing a Mary from Bedford to Duloc from the Lincoln.
Adam, right on that? Three response.
Short one itself, 181 on China.
This, of course, comes amid an investigation into
Ten,
a shootout on the borders between Florida and Cuba.
Suspect by one. 91, thank you.
Has been cut off from its oil
Ten,
supply
you're
after
welcome.
the DOJ arrested former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, things are increasingly tense regarding Iran. President Trump says he's not so pleased with how talks have been going.
3-3 response to.
Be advised, no QT is dominated. You want to rise to the hospital for medication. Hospitalization. 97 from.
The president faced a possible military strike on Iran. Trump says he's not ruling anything out. Former President Bill Clinton is answering to Congress about his
We have an updated LPR for the Henry Hudson Bridge upper level for Gulf DMW Thomas 70 William Peter Boy Master. He notified.
in Chappaqua, New York. Clinton addressed reporters after a second-hour closed-door meeting. Artillery were interrupted after Congresswoman Lauren Boebert during the proceedings with conservative influencer Benny Johnson. Former President Bill Clinton wrote his opening statement on social media where he said he never saw or did anything wrong. Mayor Zora
Need available unit from District 4. District 4 to respond to 3rd Avenue of the Lincoln. That's 3rd Avenue of the Lincoln. Booth number Henry 641010 Narco. Multiple homeless smoking illegal substance on the southbound platform. Can I get it from District 4 to check the vibes, please? Thank you. For response, over. Thank you for response.
He also spoke about the issue of immigration as that same morning the detention of a Columbia student.
And I shared my concerns as part of my long-standing belief that ICE raids are not only cruel, they also do nothing to advance the cause of public safety.
The mayor says he got a phone call from the president shortly after their meeting informing him the student was released. New Jersey elected officials also talking about ICE flipping reports.
Newark's mayor,
5x5, okay, 5x5.
executive order banning ICE agents from taking immigration enforcement action inside public buildings without a judicial warrant. Baraka referring to ICE agents as snatchers, and this came after a ICE-involved vehicle chase led to a crash. Governor Mikey Sherrill cited
96 Tom 1 for quality of life and 9198 trip stamp 10-4.
Convention Center that's planned for a warehouse in Roxbury. Republicans in Morris County say the surrounding roads, highways, and railways
1825, go ahead. You're welcome.
44-year-old mother has confirmed
Code 231. Transit code 231, go ahead. Robert 302. Addison Narco coming over to the station. Multiple teams, multiple legal substance and making videos in the mess. Right, the 90 X-ray for 2-3 Park. 4-3 and Broadway.
Tires and damaged access.
Actual
tires. Just want to know if they can sue the city for the damage to their car.
I need a new tire. So I took the cheapest one. I was very upset and angry.
305 197. 305 197, apartment 2 Frank, Western Avenue, South Drive.
Good luck with that.
Your voices, email notified respondent, don't see at the moment.
Of them being reported. ABC News.
I need to off. Sir, what you said?
In February of the month, best forgotten. John Terrett with more.
It was another negative day for people Friday. And more about AI taking on jobs and doing away with the need for so many businesses. Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all deeply in the red, and February was a negative day. It's the worst since March of last year for the S&P 500. So it's on to next Monday, a new day, a new week, and a new month of trading coming up. Among the things to look out for, earnings from iHeartMedia on Monday, from CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity software company, on Tuesday, and next week is Jobs Week again, so you get private jobs on Wednesday, weekly jobs on Thursday, and the big one, so-called non-farm government jobs report for the month of February, and that'll be next Friday. John Terry, 77 WABC.
Listen this Sunday at 10 a.m. to Full Court Press with Sean Spicer using his experience as a former White House press secretary and Justice Insider. Sean will tackle the hottest political and cultural topics of the week. Full Court Press with Sean Spicer is at 10 a.m. on 72nd and worldwide on WABCRadio.com and of course the WABC app available on all smartphones. Now your forecast overnight, it's going to be mostly clear skies with a low of 30 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 45. I'm Loretta Bali. News never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Location.
Please hold on for a second.
New Yorkers, oh my God. How are you liking Zora and Danny so far? You liking them? If you're really making New York that social Democrat or socialist Democrat place, utopia that he talked about, that you all voted for, because you believe everything this idiot said. Let's see how his tough on crime statistics are looking. Major transit crime spiked 17% as New York City sees its first underground version of 2026. The first fatal shooting in the subway this week, as new NYPD stats show that crime in the city's transit system is spiking. The Anthony Cumia Show, Sunday night at 8. We are now a 3-hour program. Oh yes, or listen anytime on the 77 WABC app. Let's see how far we can take this. 77 WABC.
Sergeant, go ahead, sir. So what was the capacity, Ocean?
He's at war with Rome. Joe Concha, these liberals are a joke. This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel Towers Foundation.
754, that's 19754.
And welcome back, everybody.
The location was 34.
Tonight on this night, I come to you live, Boise, Idaho. Sun just went down at 64 freaking degrees here. I thought I was going, to basically the North Pole. Idaho, we're in Canada here, Boise. And sure enough, it's 64 degrees. Walking around in t-shirts, sweatshirts. It looks like an October day in Jersey. And instead, you've had a problem out here apparently where the ski resorts are really suffering because they're just not getting any snow. They got some recently, but overall it's been a very warm winter out here as opposed to the Northeast, where obviously we just had that blizzard on Monday, a little more snow coming on Sunday. But we're not here to talk about the weather or why travel plans, which who wouldn't go to Idaho in February? But anyway, I'm looking at this decision that just came in. Luigi Mangione, the guy that CNN fawned over for having hot abs, even though he executed a dude, and a loving husband, obviously, the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, just a couple blocks up from Fox News, as a matter of fact, and that was about 13 months ago. And this Mangione, who was very upset about his healthcare plight, apparently, decides to kill the CEO of a healthcare company to make a point, I guess. Shoots him in the back like a coward. And then the thing is that he killed the United Healthcare CEO, and Mangione didn't have United Healthcare as his health provider. So why he did this, allegedly, I guess I'm supposed to say legally, like he's all over video. You see the quote him literally executing Brian Thompson in the street when he was just going out to get coffee before meetings in Midtown Manhattan, or on 53rd Street. Well, U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District said it accepts the U.S. District Judge Margaret Barnett's January 30 decision to dismiss a death penalty eligible murder charge against Mangione. And obviously, that shooting happened on December 4th, 2024. Despite not being tried on murder charges, Mangione still faces 2 federal stalking charges.
We're going to that job at almost came with the platform. Nobody approached us in regards. It's going to be a nice
Stalking? How do we get the stalking exactly? I never went to law school, but it doesn't sound too formidable. That sounds like the type of thing where this kid will be out in a couple of years. This is just insanity. All right. Mangione, 27, also faces life in prison at a separate murder trial in state court. Okay, thank God. Slated to begin in June. He's pleaded not guilty to Thompson's killing. And I don't know if you've it really is just utterly sickening. But there's a GoFundMe page for Mangione that primarily younger people have donated to. 7 figures, more than $1 million. Coffee mugs, you could buy almost anything you like online. Again, because more and more young people agree that violence is the answer when you disagree about something. That's why you saw so much celebration on the left when Charlie Kirk was executed at Utah Valley University, September 10th of last year. Now, Mangione has $1 million waiting for him in a GoFundMe page if and when he eventually gets out for murdering a guy. This is disturbing stuff. And it's why, when Trump nearly lost his life twice in 2024, one bullet comes within 1 centimeter of taking his head off on national television. And another time down in Palm Beach, just playing golf, and walked up to that hole, and that shooter was still there with a nest waiting for him for 18 hours. No one walks the perimeter to see if anybody's, there, especially in that spot where you have a very clear line of sight to the 6th hole. And President Trump on a green, you could have a couple of Secret Service guys around. It's a turkey shoot. You're not surviving that. And people kind of laughed it off. We never really heard very much about Thomas Crooks, right? The 20-year-old that outsmarted the entire local law enforcement in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Secret Service. And somebody from the Secret Service decided to leave that stage. And who doesn't walk the perimeter? The golf course that Trump is playing at. He's the most targeted man in the world. You allow a guy to sit in a sniper's nest for 18 hours, just waiting. And all this stuff just kind of got, Trump almost lost his life. He's okay. Well, let's not really look into who these guys really are. He was arrested. Yeah, he's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, I would hope. He got out. The guy who shot Reagan, so you never quite know. But again, it's this apathy towards violence, this permission slip for violence. We saw it with Charlie Kirk, and now with Mangione, and just the fact that he seems to be winning these court cases. And they're like, well, what is going on? And then we see that it's a lot, much smaller potatoes, but still, the symbolism of it really means something. But Mayor Mendana is missing over and over again police officers, New York City police officers being killed with snowballs over and over again. And they can't fight back. They have any physical against these people. Members are reminded to bring shield and door bag if available. Front and center on CNN, MSNBC, front page of the New York Times, if they were to fight back.
Responding officers with shield and door bag if available.
Just snowballs, get over it. Lighten up. Doesn't get done. Snowball occur when you have two sides throwing at each other. In this case, officers were over and over again, and 2 ended up in the hospital. And then they about it. Thankfully, there was one arrest. And previous charges against him were dropped down the track. Donnie, when he visited a guy in the hospital who was shot by a cop because the guy didn't saw him with a knife and was told nine times.
Broadway 98.
And Donnie is the guy who tried to kill the officer and then says this person doesn't deserve to be arrested or in handcuffs. The city is going to hell. And they're very
House Street number 1, that's House Street number 1, number is Marble Road. 4 House Drive, covered in the white,
supporting criminals over victims. That's where we're at with that particular case. Meanwhile, are we on a war with Iran? Because, look, we took out the nuclear facilities for a very, very long time. Operation. Which is Make America great again. America first, right? Always America first. But I'm not sure this is the first type of scenario. Because, again, we'd be bogged down in something for a long time, and that doesn't allow us to concentrate on things very obscure. You know, again, military possibly smart, and they've done a phenomenal job to this point. Trump on foreign policy has been phenomenal to this point, so I don't want to doubt his instincts, because they've invariably been right when many people question them in the past. But at the same time, it's one thing to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities. It's another thing altogether to take out leadership and then the vacuum that happens, and then what the U.S. role from there and harm any of our votes. Sure. Meanwhile, Smith, this guy wants to run for president. I always wondered if this is real.
What's your location, Ken? Which unit
Every
is
day he's doing some sort of NWA going after primarily Gavin Newsom or Democrats in general. So he wouldn't be a, get along kind of guy. Like, he would go in there and do some structure, much like Trump was in 2015, 2016. I am not comparing Stephen A. Smith to Trump, by the way, in the sense where Trump was a viable candidate, having run business his whole life. Having been impossibly successful. Yeah, a couple of years along the way, but, high risk, high reward. It's going to happen. Ultimately, though, Trump came out a billionaire on the other side. And I think the only comparison I would make between Smith and Trump is the fact that they are excellent at making arguments. They're very passionate in what they say are true. All right, so that's where they end. Like, can Stephen A. Smith run the country? Does he have any experience running anything? I mean, he's a college basketball player, then he got the writing mainly about the NBA, and then signed with ESPN, and he talks about sports. And he seems to know some things on a very certain 1,000-foot level, as far as generalities of what's right and wrong. He seems to be a common sense guy, like a Fetterman, like a Bill Maher kind of, when it comes to the woke stuff anyway. But here is Stephen A. Smith, again, making a very common sense argument. And here's what I'll say. I hope he runs, because if he's on a debate stage with AOC, Newsom, Buttigieg, that would be very interesting, because he would be the most articulate of the four by far, and he would be the most common sense candidate by far. Would the left wing of the party accept him? Even be a black guy? Probably not. Anyway, here he is on the Epstein files, making a very, very good case as to, well, I'll let him make the case. This is step number 3. Go. have been open during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it in the Democratic Party then? Passion's certainly there. He's right. Free to open it for 4 years, and now you're screaming about, well, because you think Trump's in it, I guess. And again, if he was, it would have been released. 2015, the minute he started getting any momentum for that nomination, or at least after he became the nominee in 2016, those were about 3 minutes. Leaked in the New York Times. If Trump had any wrongdoing in it, just to take him out right then and there before, obviously, he gained power, which he did. Meanwhile, here's Representative Tom Suozzi, okay, he's a Democrat from New York, and this is a great exchange on CNN, where he is just rattling on about why we need to have all the Epstein files released, even though millions of pages apparently have. But it's all just by a window, right? There's enough smoke when we say Trump over and over with the name Epstein, and enough people believe that he's actually a pedophile. But nevertheless, he gets called out on this, and when he's asked, hey, why didn't you worry about this when Trump was, when Biden was president? Well, the answer doesn't go to, well, it's got number 5, go.
All right, we have a heavy leader. Are you from to that job, Kay?
The people are just tired. I mean, why would you question Hillary Clinton in the first place? I read her Facebook because I've been fighting for women and girls my entire life. Why are you questioning me instead of working to make sure all the files are released? Why are you coming after me instead of making sure that the redactions are proper redactions
That aided a victim of a crime?
and expose some of the powerful people and their political
Very portable. Is that aided a victim of a crime, Kay?
When is that going to be? Why are you not questioning the Secretary of Commerce to say, I wouldn't go near that disgusting guy, and then it turns out he's a guy. And I'm going
That's 4 years. Which would have to fall.
I was never paying attention to this issue, I have to be honest. It's not a big issue. It's not a big issue. You've never heard me talk about it before. Because I'm here tonight to talk about this issue, and I'm disgusted by the fact that the American people don't know who to talk about anything. What do you think about when your colleague Ro Khanna went down to the House?
Wait. Okay, we get into there, guys. We got to go to break. But why didn't you ever talk about it before? I never saw it as a big issue. Well, now you do. Checkmate. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is Concha at Night. Back with so much more in just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show. Tunnel Tower Foundation.
The Tunnel Tower Foundation honors America's heroes. Heroes like U.S. Army Warrant Officer 1 Stuart Wayman. After joining the Army, Stuart graduated from the Army Safety School and had a distinguished career until a mid-air collision during a training exercise took Stuart's life. He leaves behind his wife Sarah and their 3 sons. Help Towers pays the mortgage on the Stewart family's home. Help more families like Stewart's. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact by donating your car or land. Go to T2T.org.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45 non-smoker can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rates for 10 years. For a man aged 50 non-smoker can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate for sex of the term not smoking reflex. Exam required to qualify.
Then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no fillers, just farm-fresh beef from upstate New York. Shipped nationwide. Stock your freezer with an entire cow or half of a cow. Or grab just a box of premium steaks and burgers. New customers get now. Start your Sunday mornings with common sense. With John Catsimatidis and the Cats Roundtable. Sunday morning is your Sunday morning common sense. Introducing the Forward Press with John Spicer. For you, we're fighting for you. These guys are fighting for somebody else. Then, show content and the most common sense arguments reoccurred in politics and informative talk every Sunday morning. Talk Radio 77 Mr. Rabbi Joseph Tapp with a New York Board of Rabbis. Cultural Center. Rev and the Rabbi. On 77 WABC. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Dominic Carter. City Hall. I don't have time to focus on mean and aches and what do we talk about? Divisive, polarizing issues. What's happening in Minneapolis? Attacking ICE agents. All of this nonsense that frankly is getting people killed. Let's put all of that garbage aside. I'm busy running my race to make my life better and the life of my family. And I strongly suggest, fellow Americans, that you do the same. Download all the Red Apple Media podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra. A couple in Hightstown, New Jersey tells News 12 that they were in bed at the height of the blizzard when a tree suddenly came. In bed, and I heard obviously the storm was going on, winds. I heard just a loud bang or some odd sound that I've never heard in the neighborhood before. So I thought to myself, it's very strange to hear. Moments later, Kristen Diane Tonelli say that tree was on their mattress. I heard just a loud bang, and then the branch was cutting through the roof right past my body, and like it went right. It was lucky, very, very lucky. The Tonellis were not hurt, but now they have a huge moral project to do. So only anything to do.
If they are still waiting for EMS to
Everybody, so the Clintons have been, I guess, testifying. They laugh only because, can you believe a word any of these people say? What's the point? What's that? We saw it so long ago with Clinton, for example, which I think that there were 16 memories of, let's see, 28 years ago. But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Can I get a memo with the security to make sure that the
These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you. He turned his back on the question. Yeah, the class was, it was a nice question about it. Let's hear from Norm MacDonald, just 30 years ago, who questions Hillary Clinton's honesty. Cut number 4, go.
For years, Hillary Rodham Clinton has told people that she was named for the first man to climb Mount Everest, Sir Edmund Hillary. But as Esquire magazine recently pointed out, Sir Edmund did not climb Mount Everest until 1953, 6 years after Hillary was born. However, the First Lady does have a good explanation for this discrepancy. She loves to lie.
The late Norm MacDonald, I missed that guy. No question about it. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is Concha Night. Andy Fry joins us next. Please do stick around. Back with more in a moment.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically the past few years. For example, a man aged 45 non-smoker can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. For a man aged 50 non-smoker can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify. When equipment breaks down or operations come to a halt, every single second counts. So why is your maintenance team spending 60% of their time doing anything but turning wrenches? Maintain X is the AI-powered maintenance and asset management that helps your team get back to action on fixing breakdowns. No more searching for manuals. No more hunting down parts. No more drowning in paperwork. With Maintain X, your team can access manuals from anywhere, create new procedures in minutes, and turn voice notes into clear and complete work order feedback. What used to take hours now only takes minutes. Keep your operations moving and your wrenches turning. Join over 13,000 maintenance teams that are already fixing more and filing less. Try Maintain X for free today. Go to maintainx.com/AI. That's maintain and the letter X.com/AI.
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, you don't have to start over. From pathways designed to keep you moving forward. Still has some enrollment, still lost credit. At Manhattan University, learning is about more than a degree. It's about purpose. So what does that mean for you? It means graduating prepared for the real world. With the training centers across the campus, New York City becomes your classroom. Take advantage of over 300 internship opportunities, many leading to paid positions and full-time careers. Here, students come first. If you're ready to move forward without missing a step, visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over, move forward.
Take advantage of everything that New York City has to offer, including more than 300 internship opportunities that can lead to paying jobs. Students at Manhattan University are their top priority. Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today.
New Yorkers are always on the move, but right now getting approvals to build anything is just too slow. New York takes 56% longer to build housing and infrastructure than peer states. Red tape like this means higher rents and less housing New Yorkers can afford. The Let Them Build agenda will fix that. No cutting corners, just the red tape that makes housing less affordable. You deserve a New York that doesn't slow you down. Learn more today at NY.gov/LetThemBuild. A message from New York City.
77 WABC celebrates National Cigar Day all day long. Cigars originated in ancient Maya in Central America around 2500 BC. National Cigar Day, sponsored by Cigar Place, the best place to buy cigars. CigarPlace.com today and enter WABC for $10 off. The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
Mexican cartel violence is causing cruise ships out of Southern California to stop at the tourist hotspot of Puerto Vallarta. Cartel expert Jason Jones.
This is and should not be understated. This is the biggest counter cartel operation in Mexico's history.
A Holland America ship that left San Diego Mexico earlier this month canceled one of their Mexican stops due to security concerns. Same with a Norwegian cruise ship that left Los Angeles on Sunday. A spokesperson cited the recent U.S. travel warning.
Look at the number of people these cartels have killed. There's not a terrorist organization in the world to have killed as many Americans as they have.
Cartel expert Jason Jones says this bloody war is putting tourists and tourism in the crosshairs. I'm Lisa Ritchie for 77 WABC News.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition, sponsored by the Tunnel Towers Foundation. Here's Joe Concha.
Okay, let's bring in Annie Fry. She is the host of the Annie Fry Show. That's on 97 FM Talk, 12 to 3 p.m. That is Central Time. A little earlier by us on the East Coast, but since this is nationally syndicated, find Annie pretty easy to do online. Annie, thanks for joining us on the Friday night. You're usually clubbing at this time, and you took time off from that clubbing itinerary to join us, so we appreciate it.
8:30 p.m. 4 kids. They're all downstairs watching the Michigan-Illinois game. So, ILL, see how many people I set that way. Some toasted ravioli and pizza, and I'm upstairs talking to you, Joe. The clubbing days are long.
Ravioli? I've never heard of toasted ravioli before.
Okay, that is just St. Louis as a guess. There's a place called Emo's Pizza. John Hamm, St. Louis guy, he brings, if he goes on to a nighttime show, he'll bring Emo's Pizza out there. But you gotta learn what toasted ravioli is. It's a St. Louis thing through and through.
It sounds very healthy, so that's Friday nights are made.
We don't talk about that. Toasted ravioli.
I wonder whoever decided that Friday nights is like an absolute carbs pizza kind of night. Maybe because of Lent, maybe you can't have meat, and then that led to I think you really can't have the pizza, right? Did you ever put anything for Lent, by the way?
I used to do that, and I just always kind of failed at it. I'm Lutheran, but we're very close to Catholic, so we do observe Lent and Ash Wednesday and all of that stuff. So I try to have better language, but I need to keep trying.
Yeah, I've given up so much stuff. There's not much to give up at this point. I'll give up dessert.
Friday night. That's what I
Giving
do.
up clubbing on Friday nights. Yeah, I asked my son, what would you give up? And he's like, and he couldn't come up with one thing he would actually sacrifice. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Oh man, but anyway, let's get to the fun political stuff. So, where shall we begin? I won a couple of years ago. My Devils haven't won in 2003.
Yeah.
45 flies. It's only 23 years. When did that happen? We're doing a very short future, I would think. Let me play for you this clip because I think it's so awesome. Well, actually, I'll explain it because it looks like it was cut a little too long. Basically, Jack Hughes was on ESPN and he made a $100,000 shot live.
Of course he did.
Of course he did, right? And it goes to the charity of his choice. What's that?
He's the golden goose right now. I think that's the magic of Jack right now, and I know I want to talk to you a little bit about Rapinoe because there is something so incredibly contagious about Jack. And I say this because I'm a Blues fan because I'm a St. Louis girl through and through, but we watch a ton of sports. Hockey has never really been the one that I know really well in study, so I cheer for the home team. By the way, I think the Devils are in St. Louis tomorrow, so St. Louis is excited to see Jack Hughes in the flesh there tomorrow. But I looked it up. He's 24 years old. He's going to be 25 in May. And he wants to run for office someday. He can run for office someday. This moment that he was thrust into, he has not missed a mark on just bringing people into the joy and the celebration of everything that is good about this. So many obstacles thrown in front of him, trying to trip him up. And he can't miss, just like that $100,000 shot. The man can't miss. It's exactly what our country needs right now.
Yeah, and it's so authentic, right? It's not like our person gets to and says, say all the right things. It comes from the heart. And this should be, again, I keep going back to 9/11 when George W. Bush threw a perfect strike from the rubber at Yankee Stadium, Bronx, deep blue, and the crowd roared in USA, and it didn't matter whether it was a Republican or a Democrat. Everybody came together, and now it just seems like the left just craps on everything. They're just miserable people. And, you know, let me play a little bit of the Jack Hughes clipper because it's that good. This is cut number 12, guys. Cut number 12. Go.
Do you think you could have little dangles and maybe put this hockey ball with this stick into that hole right there for a $100,000 donation to a charity of your choosing? Really? Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's go. Before we let you take this off, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We use this one here.
Slanted a bit. Be careful now.
Listen, I don't know if you're able to see this right here, okay? Ball hockey. Do you grow up playing any ball hockey? Or you just play ice? You'd like to build on it? Oh,
Nice. This is a like a rubber ball.
I think you said that. Yeah, you said you wanted to do a field goal kick. Yeah, I like the way you boys are trying to angle some more money. Okay, I do. I really do appreciate that. Okay, have you ever this feeling where your body test for you as an actual hockey player? And we assumed you'd be able to approach it, but not 100% sure it's an abnormal thing. I actually am nervous right now. It just looks kind of hard.
Jackie scored the.
There is not 26 million people watching. Big gold medal. $100,000 to a charity of your choosing if you're able to put that ball into that hole right over there. Jack Hughes, you've made your entire country proud. You made all of hockey proud. And now you're doing $100,000 to a charity of your choosing. Jack, put it in the hole.
Exactly. It's like on a concrete like stage, and you gotta get it through like this little tube, and it's a rubber ball, not a pocket, you know, right down the middle. Now, to your point before, because you brought her up, Megan Rapinoe, okay, goes on this podcast, and you want to talk about somebody who you absolutely positively would root against, even if she plays for the USA, and I kind of did during the last World Cup because she's just so utterly rude, but here she is, cut 11, guys, and this is Megan Rapinoe calling Jack Hughes a clown, really. Cut 11, go.
United States men's hockey team, in their utter moment of glory, childhood dreams come true, once in a lifetime accomplishment, sensational, ruined it for themselves,
Ruined it.
because they allowed themselves to be totally co-opted, yeah, by a clown, and now you're a clown. You look like a clown.
Wow. So I guess what Megan is saying here, Rapinoe, is that when the president called, they should have turned down the call, turned down the military plane, turned down the chance to go to the State of the Union, which it's not StubHub where you can just get tickets and just walk in. Like, this is something that very, very few people on this planet ever get to experience. And all because she said a couple of years ago when she was asked during a World Cup run for the women's team, are you going to the White House? And she said, I'm not going to the effing White House. And got all over MSNBC for that. So I'll let you take it from here. Boy, what a human being.
Oh, she's insufferable. And I mean, like, 2 points. The first one's a cheap shot, but I can't miss it because she's the one who invoked the word clown. First of all, this is radio, so people don't know what she looks like. But when you see the clip, you're gonna be like, she looks like a clown. She looks like what is the music video where they wear all the red hats? The little like stone red hats. It's like an 80s song, and I'm gonna think of it as soon as
Oh, it's you could visit you must have yeah, it's Devo. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, Devo.
You know what I was talking about because it's true. And the second thing about the clown thing is she looks ridiculous. She wears like purple hair all the time, and she looks clownish in herself. But she's absolutely miserable. She's saying these guys who are having the absolute time of their lives. So America is soaking up the chant USA once again. I think that every time you chant USA, like every time a bell rings, an angel gets a swing. Every time you chant USA, Megan Rapinoe's soul just exits her body just a little bit more. Because when you look at her, she looks miserable. Why would you watch her on this podcast and watch her call these people who've captivated the hearts and minds of America on the left and on the right? Why would you look at her in her slow, labored delivery and be like, you're right, I'd really like to be on your side. You look like a lot of fun. Give me a break. She's miserable. And she could just be miserable. being miserable, Megan. It's fine. Just be over there and be miserable. We're over here. We're having a party. USA.
She makes Kathy Bates in Misery look happy. You know, I mean, that's how that went. And here's where she's got some real, for lack of a better word, your balls to say what she said. Because remember, in 2023, when the Women's World Cup team heavily favored, I mean, no one's going to come close to beating this team. They won 2 consecutive times the Women's World Cup. And then it comes down to the shootout at the end, right? Basically, it's like a penalty, which everybody makes. And if they don't make it, the goalie makes some sort of insane save. And she puts it a good 10 feet above the goal. And loses I want to be a clown? Maybe that's it. But that is the lasting memory of her career, that miss. And so if she went out like that and didn't score the goal and beat down the I can't get over this thing. But Mike Ruzzioni, who I've met, is a good guy. He was on the 1980 U.S. hockey team, and we were talking to Andy Fry, the great radio host of 97.1 FM, and said, here's a going off on everybody who went off on the USA hockey team, and he's example back. You know, some of these players would, criticize for saying something or doing something, but if you go back to 1980, Walter Mondale was in the stands in the audience, and after the game, I talked to Jimmy Carter on the phone. Jimmy Carter called the locker room, and I spoke to him. He invited us to the White House the next day. And there was no one arrest. There was nothing bad. Look, I've said many times that I my grave, but other than being a police officer, a firefighter, or somebody in the military who protects and serves our country, there's no greater feeling than putting on a USA jersey. You're not playing for Boston, Chicago, New York, you're playing for your country. And when you experience that moment and have an elliptical medal around your neck, and the joy that it brings to so many people, who listens to the other side? Who listens to people venting to play?
Car number 1653, the car number is 1653.
Ruzzioni bringing it like he did against the Soviets back in 1980.
The last thing I'll say about it is that we have the perfect quote this week from the President of the United States when he looked at the people to his right, the Democrats who couldn't stand up for anything that was America first. And he said, these people are crazy. We have to get back to the place where we call out people who are miserable, who are crazy, who, we've spent decades now trying to kind of walk on eggshells, not just people. You don't want to be labeled a hateful person, but look where it's got me. You got to get back to saying to the opinions of the world, like, hey, you want to be miserable, but you look freaking miserable, and I want nothing to do with it, we're going to party. And just continue to be happy with the things that make you be happy and pursue happiness in other ways where you feel like you can be pursuing it. The left, there are bugs built around every single current. It never fails. They're never happy. And I keep asking myself, what would make them happy? What could possibly make them happy? You think Trump resigning would make them happy? They're going to be freaking out the second they realize that the vice president is going to be the president. Have you met J.D. Vance? Like, he's got a lot more years ahead of him, a lot more future ahead of him than Donald Trump. Don't let me have to try to make them all war at.
And Gavin said that this week, where he said, like they already setting up the dance will some of the worst version of Trump. It's really remarkable. You're right, be the cool, happy, optimistic party. And I think that's what wins every time, right? You think of every slogan going back to Reagan in 1980, shining city on the hill. Or obviously, who else was it? Barack Obama, right? Hope and change. No,
Morning in America? Yeah.
Morning in America, that's right.
Change, that's Obama.
I like Hillary's. I'm with her. Okay.
Yeah.
That was it.
Got to be more specific about which her. Inconsistent on that one.
Hey, can we do one more hockey-related soundbite? Because just to go back to the misery part, so Jon Stewart, who now does the Daily Show once a week, and it's kind of weird watching a 60-something-year-old guy still cosplaying like this 20-year-old snarky kid. It just looks awkward. Yes, and then he has a podcast also where he just looks completely and totally, go back to that word again, miserable. Here he is going off the USA men's hockey team for being, they're just too happy to have won this. They're sore winners. This is cut number 8. Cut number 8, go.
So I offer, it's very rare in athletic competition. America, rightfully celebrating incredible feats from 1914 in ice time. it does feel incredibly personal that we're acting as though Canada is our long-term nemesis. There's no more Soviet Union.
This podcast should be called 5 O'Clock Shadow, and it should publish it 5 o'clock every day. It's just that, like, you need to, like, people just lighten up. This is something to celebrate. Yeah.
And Canada is our big rival in hockey. They've beaten us in like several gold medal contests over this past century. Obviously, going back to 2002, they beat us again in overtime. Sidney Crosby. Canada, they were the favorites and we beat them.
Celebration of the United States of America. They hate it. It goes exactly against what they normally stand for. And again, I'm actually talking about it because it repels people. So hopefully it'll repel voters as well.
And somebody who repels people sometimes as well, Andy, and then we'll let you get going. This is going to be cut number 1, guys. Cut number 1. This is Roseanne Barr talking to our friend Piers Morgan. Explaining what a woman is, okay? This is Roseanne at Roseanne's Finest. Cut number 1, go.
4.
Do we have cut 1? Thanks. No cut 1?
What
All right,
is
sorry, guys.
a woman is somebody who's wrestling down to her stomach and who has a prolapsed uterus from giving birth to 5 ungrateful little bastards who have never had to work for a thing in their goddamn life.
Well,
I don't know anything. 41, had 4 kids. I could get plastic surgery or do a handstand and everything would look the way it used to. So it's like, I'm on my way to being Roseanne Barr.
wow. Yeah, you're like JD Vance, right? JD has a 4th on the way. I don't know how you do 4. I do 2, and 2 is...
Yeah.
And it feels heavy lift.
A lot of running.
But you're still playing man-to-man. But the 4, that's zone defense and just, pray to hang on. But anyway, I'm being told we got to go. But Andy, thanks so much for the Friday night. I know coming to us. We'll next time in St. Louis, we'll do that all right.
Toasted ravioli. I'll send you some sometime.
Thank you, Annie. Have a good night. And a good weekend. And this is your Concha. This is Concha. Thank you. Just a moment.
This is the Joe Concha Show, weekday edition. Sponsored by the Tunnel of Towers Foundation.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities need your help now more than ever. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do anything in their honor. Never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices of this country's heroes and their families. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact by donating your car or land. Go to T2C.org.
This is the Worldwide News Network Extra. 4 people were killed, almost 30 had to be hospitalized following a 36-vehicle crash on an interstate just south of Pueblo, Colorado. Colorado State Patrol saying the wreck happened during strong winds that caused near-zero visibility involving 29 passenger vehicles and 7 semi-trucks. Investigators say blowing dirt created brownout conditions. For the Worldwide News Network, I'm James Fulton. This is the Worldwide News Network Extra. There is a barbecue emergency in Texas. And if you know the Lone Star State, that's a big deal. Restaurants are actually closing because of sky-high beef prices.
When your most important product, the margin has basically disappeared. It's not just our barbecue and other restaurants that are really have positions.
That's Kelsey Harrison Trooper with the Texas Restaurant Association. Says that China charge $40 a pound for brisket. Just a break.
There's no doubt that the cost of beef is really putting them in an extreme value. If you're an already and to make the profit on those products, I have to be charging insane prices.
High prices blamed on a drought and difficulties expanding cattle herds. I'm James Flippin, and this is the Worldwide News Network. Now, the the latest from the 77 WABC newsroom.
That looks great. It's 4 degrees outside and you have this beautiful
Sid Rosenberg, host of Single Friends in the Morning, was a guest recently on Brian Kilmeade's show on the Fox News channel. And according to Sid newsman Noel Megan, he could spot Sid a mile away with his beautiful tan.
When I was getting dressed, the makeup girl said, did you just come back from Miami? And I said, no, I got back from Miami. Actually switched up my tanning salon yesterday.
That's right. Sid is very particular about his tanning salons and the methods he uses to get that Florida glow. Today, it's very involved.
There's 2 separate kinds. Some tanning salons, they don't have the machine, so literally just you get down to your boxers or underwear.